We have given you everything you need to achieve personal success and world peace. You will probably hear that and think that's not possible because you might be examining your life or looking at the world and thinking that is absolutely not possible. We can't do that. I thought the same thing, even though I'd received that message some time ago and variations of it over the years. And this morning, when I got up, I was reminded of that title, and then I went to look it up. And then I found out that the reason it came through was because it was a time where we were moving through another energetic change in our world. And that's how I received information. That was difficult for me to accept as well, that I could do that. It's the same for you. The only difficulty you will have in your life is what you can believe, because it's challenging for all of us. We come into the world, we've got to develop something new that is within us, and so that means going into the unknown. And we don't like the unknown because it's that scary place, and we typically hide out. I know, I've done it for so long. But then what happens is you start to understand who you are, and you start to own that, and which is why the message today was about abundance and prosperity, because that's what happens when you start to understand your worth and value. You start to magically, it might seem to you, attract different things to come into your life, but then you also start changing the world. That's another one that's difficult for us to understand because we don't think we're that powerful, and that's been the problem, that you don't think you're that powerful. And that's why the world looks the way that it does, because we're hiding out. We're not willing to become who we are. We're just being a little afraid. And fear is a really great one because it'll just hold you back. It'll just keep you stuck. And then you will look at your life and think, what has happened? But then we will all look at the world and wonder, why does it look like this? Well, because we didn't believe that we could achieve personal success or that we could change the world. That's why. And then I'm given information, and I'm not believing it either. I'm saying this because that's what I was meant to do, so I could bring in new information. It didn't make sense that I would say, I sat down for 35 years and downloaded information that turned into a philosophy that could change your life and the world. Except that I know that that's true. I was told that so many times. Because the only difficulty that you would have is not understanding who you are, what your life purpose is, understanding the blockages and the trauma and the generational biases and restrictions that you have to move through. You move through those, you start to understand who you are, you create something new, you give it to the world, and we all evolve. That's how it operates. But when we become afraid, nothing changes. And so I got up this morning after I heard that, and I'm listening to a video. I don't know who it was, but they're talking about some date, and I said, "Oh yeah, that was a big change in the world." Well, that was when I received that message, and I thought, I didn't know that. And then it went further, because on that date, what happened was I went back. I was guided to go back. Wilhelm does this to me and put down messages from that year over several different years, because that's how we evolve. We understand more a bit at a time, and then we accept it. Wilhelm has given me stuff from its cosmic consciousness, so there's no time there. And that's the thing that you will understand. And then there's another thing that happens. I'm going to leave the link there. There was a channeling session that happened after that, which was in 2021. And when you listen to it, it'll explain everything that's going on now that we could not have maybe understood or heard or didn't accept. I didn't accept it. What happens is when I just want you to understand, when I'm receiving information, I am I'm not in the room. I'm receiving it because it's cosmic guidance and it's connected to universal source, and that's why it works for everyone, and that's why it heals as well. But owning that was challenging. I've walked through my life and healed everything, and that's what I'm going to be putting out now. But I want to talk about this because I want you to understand how important it is now, at this time in our world, for you to love yourself and to come to know who you are. Everything in our world is energy, and we change it energetically by what we decide to do. Now, that's been studied and developed over years through scientists and all of that, and I was basically a living guinea pig because I proved it. When I talked about synchronicity, that's what I discovered. When I said that I knew I had received a message on your birthday in 2012, that made no sense, except it was accurate. And then I went back after I found this message. I'm led to another, and so I'll show you this. I put together a little presentation for you, and because I want you to understand what's coming up, because the rare new moon, the second one that we're having on the 30th, is going to be really powerful. So the more that you understand who you are, your importance, and what you came to the world to do, it will be the best thing you can do in your life, and it'll be the best thing for our world as well, because every person makes a contribution. You just decide which one you're going to make. And Wilhelm said they thought that maybe you wanted to make one that would cause you to be happy and prosperous, to heal, and to love yourself. That's all that it is. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link to that session, because it was, like I said, it was in 2021, but it'll explain so much. But I'll leave a link in the description of the video. I'll also leave this little presentation so you can read the messages, because I just put them together so that you could see the synchronicity. And then what I did at the very end, I took them and I said that, because I had no idea that I was receiving messages in this way, and that's why it was so connected to cosmic consciousness. So I put it in the AI, because all of the messages were there, and it went through and analyzed it all and gave a really great explanation that I want you to have. So it's all in this presentation, because we may think that we don't have this unique place or this divine plan. I know that's not true. I know everyone does. I can always see it. That's why I know that we don't have problems. We don't have difficulties. We just have places that we're unwilling to move over, or we're not willing to change. And I know it because that's what I have done. Being a double Scorpio, change was really challenging, but transformation was easy, because that's all I've done. And I know you can do it as well. But here is, I'm just going to go through this, and I'll leave the link for you, and I'll also leave the link to the channeling session, because when you listen to all of it, when you go through this, because there's actually things that you can do in here, because it's all about your consciousness. It's all about changing your consciousness from one of being limited to one of being expansive and unlimited, which is what we all are. We just forget that as we live our lives. That's all. And the world forgets that as it evolves, and this is the period that we're in now, which Wilhelm has explained so brilliantly, but you'll get so much of it from this work, and I'm glad that you're going to have it. There is order in the universe. There's order in your life when you were born, all of that. We just figure it out later. So when I got up this morning, I was led to this title, and it was given on this date 4 years ago, on December 27th, which is what it is. Now that you know, what will you do? And what that was pointing out was what I knew. But sometimes, even when we know, we don't really move. And that can happen for a lot of us. So, but I want you to see the rest of it, because this is the message. Now that you know, what will you do? We hope you find that title intriguing, for it will also be enlightening as you come to understand its meaning. As we have said, you are moving through a massive restructuring, and it is occurring first within you. Roger thought that maybe he might be exempt, as he was, after all, delivering our messages. But none of you are exempt, and that was the real intent of the restructuring. We will give you a story, but first we will ask the producers of the film we will mention to consider sharing some of the profits with Roger. Yesterday, after completing some of his chores, Roger felt a bit of overwhelm, and even called his friend to say as much, and told them it seemed as if things were moving too fast and he needed to take a break. Roger decided a movie might do the trick, and it could allow him to escape for a bit. And it did quite the opposite. Roger's entirely connected to the information we send, while at the same time doubting it and feeling strange for the process itself. You each have felt as if you were all alone on your journey, or most other times believing you are the only one and somehow crazy. We use that word, for we gave Roger a title some time ago that he is now closer to using, and that is deciding I'm not crazy and my life makes sense. Now he believes that title, and so will you, for we will help you. On Christmas Day, Roger's nephew sent a text advising Roger to watch the film Soul. This nephew is the same one who told Roger almost 20 years ago who Roger was by handing him a book, which Roger summarily hid away for years, just like you have been hiding out. But this restructuring will cause you to take a second look. Then Roger began to watch the film. He was overtaken by emotions which he could not explain at the time. But we are providing more clarity now. Immediately following the film, Roger sent a text to his nephew after he had dried his tears. We are giving you context for a reason. During the text conversation, they both remarked on their disbelief that a major Hollywood studio and big corporations would create a film talking about spirituality and using such vivid imagery that both Roger and his nephew found it surprising, for they felt maybe they were the only ones who knew. You understand what we mean. You each have felt that way throughout your lives. You have held on to limitations in your life, as Roger has. That is why we asked the question in the beginning. Roger now knows what he was meant to receive during this restructuring, and that was his sense of purpose and belief, which is and always has been helping others find their rightful place in the world. What we'll do now that you know you weren't an accident, what we will do now so you know you weren't accident. What will you do now that you know you weren't an accident? If you don't remember, we told you this yesterday. You will be fine. I always receive messages that will refer to messages from before, and you will see because there's a continuity of consciousness of which we're all a part. We just figure it out at different times. Morning, I was told last night to put this together. This will all be there. You can read it. You're not going to go through it all now, because what will happen as you take some time, you will see that it'll start to change your mind. And from one of you thinking you weren't enough to one of you understanding how powerful you are, because we were all born that way. And so the first part of this, we have given you everything you needed to achieve personal success and world peace. You will then discover that your achievement will lead to the restructuring of the world, which we have spoken of and provided guidance through our messenger for decades. It has actually been eons. But that is a concept not many will accept. It will also not matter, for as humans, you all operate, evolve, change, and succeed the same way, which is reaching higher states of consciousness. But you decided to live during this restructuring, which is an integral part of your evolutionary journey, and what you came to contribute is awakening now. Many of you, including our messenger, have not acted on our words before. That is why we have used the title, You Didn't Believe Jesus, Tesla, or Buddha. Tesla either, so it was challenging for many of you to believe us, as Roger didn't know either. We are making that statement as none of you know who you can become until you take the journey of self-discovery. Your world doesn't recognize it either until you collectively can accept new operating methods that would sustain your planet and allow more of you to flourish. It would help if you did not regret what you have not done or feared doing, because now is the time to change that and the trajectory of your life and world. There is an order in the universe, and you each have a role to play. You will contribute to this planetary ascension when more of you can accept and own yours. You have had others, but many would have no memory of them, only the felt limitations and restrictions you continue to carry. Now, it goes on, and so I'm going to leave the link so you can have all of it, because it just gives us every little September 25th, because that was another, like I said, energetic change. But going back to 2008, you don't even need to understand, but that was an energetic shift that happened on the planets, and we're always affected by that. We just understand it later in our discovery of how we operate as humans or the universe. That's what happens. And so you will see that every single year I'm putting down on 2020 on September 25th a different message. And as you read through each one, you will see more awareness happening because it happens over time, and then you will see that it's also connected to what might have been going on in the world. Now I'm saying that now, and that is not something that I could have believed. You couldn't have believed it either because I didn't know what I was doing. None of us do. We're evolving and we're receiving things and implanting information, every single person, that we don't know is there. And so we find different ways of bringing it forth, and so that we can evolve. And you go through that. So then every single message, you will find that it'll give you something to think about and a few little questions that you're going to start asking yourself, because it's all about your personal discovery. It's never about, Wilhelm says that they are not giving us anything. They're getting us to uncover what is already within us. And then you can only change now. This is the one that they led. You'll see when you read all of this, they will lead me to different places to say this is all connected, and you just begun to understand it. And then what happens, the title of this message, go to the website and enter the title of the message. You can only change now. There's a little typo there. I'll change that for you guys. But if you go to anyadvicefortoday.com and put in that you can only change now, you'll be surprised at what comes up. There have been several other instances where they will put in a word and say just search for it, and you will see that you'll be led to something that will give you such greater awareness. So then this is a really, some of these are so incredible. This is Stan, my associate, and when you guys read that one, those who know us will get that one, because nothing is happening accidentally. When you meet someone, when you work with people, all of it, you just kind of figure it out later. Then September 2021, your intention now will create your new world. That's what we're all doing. You go here, you are meant to prosper now. That's all of us. And then there's a video that I will, that I'm leaving at the end. That one you will understand, because listening to that is really kind of surprising. It was before I opened my program, because I'm still compiling all of this and I hadn't done it yet. And so when you listen to that recording, it's telling me exactly what was there, what I was meant to do, hadn't done it, and even the book I'm going to finish now. So that's it. You'll love that one, but I have it at the end of it. But this is the one you got to remember. The biggest irony you discovered during your physical life experience is that the key to the expansion you seek is being you, and the fear you hold is being you. Your awareness of this irony also allows you to resolve it. You will notice that you decide to wait whenever you hesitate to do something you know you desire to do, which would further that expansion. That waiting period is when you have allowed that fear to control your life. Now you will also understand that the fear is not because of who you are, but what you think others will think of you. When you study this entire concept, you will find it difficult to see any exceptions to this. And that, I can tell you, is absolutely true. So then I took it into, after I got all these messages and I'm looking at them and I said, why did I do this? Why'd they have me do this? And so I put it in AI. So I'm grateful that we have this now, because it's giving me more explanations, and all of us will start using it in different ways, but it compiles information. And so it's just easier, so they could analyze what I received through Wilhelm. I had no clue. And then it'll take you through every single message of why it worked and why Wilhelm gave it to us, why it caused me to heal, or anyone who uses this work. You'll understand, because you just become aligned with the information. We are all affected by the energies that happen in our world. When we understand our place in it, that's when we live our best lives. Now, this is Wilhelm's message on September 25th, 2024 emphasizes that we already possess everything needed to achieve personal success and world peace. Yet the challenge lies in believing this truth and acting upon it. Here are the core themes Wilhelm conveyed, and they're all throughout the messages. That's why I really want you to have these. And then they broke it down by what was happening in the world. There were certain energies that were happening at times where I was receiving that, totally unaware that that was happening. but they tied it together quite wonderfully. And so you're going to get so much out of this. And yeah, this is it. The message delivered on September 25th, 2021 was timeless. You hold within you the power to change anything and everything. As you navigate the challenges of your life and the world around you, remember this truth. Every experience, every moment is an opportunity to evolve into the best version of yourself. Take the next step, reflect on those secrets, and begin applying them today. Your prosperity and your contribution to a better world depends on it. I'm telling you, these are just all the things that have come through. And so here is that session. I'll put a link in there, but it is, it's on, I just put it here so you can see it, but I'll put a link in this video description so you can listen to it. It will give you everything. And I'm doing another, like I said, on the 30th of this month, I'm doing another session because that's going to be, it's another rare, it's a second new moon of this year, but it's actually more powerful than that. We're ending a big cycle. That's why things have been so difficult in the world, and maybe possibly for you. However, you are here to do something wonderful, and it's within you. And once you start doing it, everything will change. And I know that will happen for you because it's happened for me in different ways. That's why this information came through. But I have not. I didn't do it. Neither of you. But this is what I'm saying. Now what's happened as this all come together, I'm going to package it. I'm putting it all together now because I've talked about this. People who have just done portion of my work, 35 years, I gave them 31 days. And so now what I'm doing is we're doing a whole bunch more. And I'm so excited about it because I'm seeing progress. And the more of us who decide that we're going to finally move out of our old selves and become who we can be, we'll see a very different world. You'll understand that soon. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel if it's your first time, and I'll leave all this for you. See you soon.